I am a software engineer. Upon searching for halal investment in India, I came across Tata Ethical Fund, mutual fund, which was certified as Shariah compliant by TASIS, Taqwa Advisory and Shariah Investment Solutions Private Limited. I would like to know whether TASIS is a trustable organization. Please clarify my doubts to invest in halal way. Whether there's two questions that can invest in Tata Ethical Fund, and asking is whether TASIS, that is Taqwa Advisory and Sharia Investment Solution, is it trustworthy? I am not aware of this organization. The word is very good, mashallah, so I cannot comment on that. I have not done research, but I can surely give you an answer regarding Tata Ethical Fund. As far as Tata Ethical Fund is concerned, it was launched several years back, I think in the late 90s or the early 20s, I'm not exactly sure, but it's a very old fund, maybe in the year 2000s, maybe 15-20 years old. And this was launched by the Tata company mainly for the Muslims and the Jains. And they saw what is haram in the Islamic Sharia. It should not be interest related, it should not have alcohol, should not have pork. So they saw to it that this mutual fund means they have got a stock of various different companies. So it's a portfolio. But they saw to it that they purchased stock of those companies with Sharia compliant, and at the same time even compliant to the Jain religion. So it was mainly targeting the Jains and the Muslims. So by principle, Tata company launched a fund to attract the Muslims and the Jains. So the purpose was Sharia compliant, but the unfortunate part, when I had done research, I think in the year 2010 or before that, when in 2005 onwards, when I had done research that time, I had found that the Tata Ethical Fund does not have a Sharia board. Its intention may be good, but didn't have a Sharia board. And at one time, there were some shares which were not Sharia compliant, and we complained to them, and alhamdulillah, they immediately sold it off. So the main intention of Tata Ethical Fund is to see to it that it's Sharia compliant, at the same time seeing to it even the Jains can invest. So by nature, it is supposed to be a Sharia compliant fund, but when you see that there is a Sharia compliant fund by nature, then we have to see to it that does it have a Sharia board, and on that Sharia board are they good, authentic Islamic scholars in Islamic economics. If that's the case, there's no problem. There are many Sharia funds launched claiming that they're Sharia fund, but you should see to it that do they have a Sharia board. Unfortunately, Tata Ethical Fund didn't have a Sharia board. Now I don't know. Whether it has now or not, I don't know, I'm not aware. But I'm aware in the past it did not have. But that doesn't mean if a fund doesn't have a Sharia board, you cannot invest in that. If the fund doesn't have a Sharia board, then you have to take advice of consultants which are expert in the Islamic Sharia economics. Now this TASIS, TASIS, I'm not aware of them, maybe they have. What you can do, you can surely call them. You can ask them that do you have a Sharia board, or do you have a Sharia scholar in the Islamic finance? Who are the scholars? Are they reliable? What is their qualification? Are they bachelors or masters in the Sharia Islamic economics? If they are, then you can go it. If they are not, then you have to ask experts whether the fund is halal or not. But generally, Tata Ethical Fund is a fund that is mainly targeting the Muslims and the Jains. So most probably it will be halal, but sometimes because they don't have a Sharia board, they may make errors. So if you have another consultant who can guide you, and if you find that Tata Ethical Fund, if has made an error, surely you can contact the fund manager and inform them. Surely they will agree with you. Or now maybe they have started having a Sharia board, I don't know. So you have to ask a consultant, as Quran says in Surah Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 43. And Surah Anbiya, chapter number 21, verse number 7. Fas'alu ahli zikri in kuntum la ta'lamun. If you don't know, ask the person who is knowledgeable. So you have to ask a Sharia consultant of Islamic finance whether the portfolio of Tata Ethical Fund is Sharia compliant or not. And you have to be careful. They keep on selling and buying. So you have to see to it that by nature, you have to keep on checking. Or sometimes by nature, if they say that we are going to go in for a particular company, and by nature if that company is Sharia compliant, then safely you can invest in that stock. But Tata Ethical also, inshallah, most probably it will be Sharia compliant. Surely you can call up TASIS and ask them that do they have a Sharia consultant or is he qualified, and if he, then you can surely follow them. There is no harm. Hope that answers the question.